Thank you for joining us for this special look back at some of our favorite stories from 2024. I'm Naiba Reynoso. First up, the Veteran Peer Access Network, or VPAN, helps veterans connect to resources and get the help they need when times are tough.
We're here to see Ronald. He's kind of the Cinderella story of VPAN right now. He was living on the street for a while, him and his fiance, and we were able to link up with him, and just working with him, our partners at the VA, some of our community-based organizations, we were able to get him housed and get it done pretty quickly. So we're here to just do a quick check-in on him. Hey, Jessica.
Hey.
How are you? Hey, Ronald. How's it going?
Hey, Dario.
It's great seeing you, my man.
Great seeing you. How you been?
All right. You know, so VPAN is it's really just a network of services. We're not a program. We're a network of services for veterans by veterans, right? So I'm a Marine Corps vet, and Ronald's is an Army vet. This helped us bridge this gap in trust.
Yeah, she wanted to have a pet, something to take care of. Started getting.
I was a lead instructor at an IT school, college, and COVID happens. You know, enrollment numbers dropped month after month, and they had to lay off a bunch of people. And after that, you know, my life fell apart. You know, my ex-wife left, and so it was me, and I was raising 3 kids, which you know, lost the house, lost the car, ended up losing custody of the kids, ended up homeless on the street. You know, I felt like I was at the end of my rope. You know, I felt like before I had seen some level of success. I wasn't rich or anything, but I had a fulfilling career. I was teaching people. I was happy. You know, I was moving up in life, and things were going so well. And then, like that, everything was gone.
Here at VPAN, we were created to help veterans and military family member with low barriers. So essentially, anybody who has served in the military, even if it was 1 day or just boot camp, then we will admit them to our program and provide services that they need.
I'm not a veteran, but I'm married to one. My husband served in the U.S. Army for 9 years. I'm what folks will tend to call like a military spouse. The DMH VPAN team, they're true experts with housing veterans that if today we find a veteran that needs shelter, we almost immediately can house them. Since VPAN started seeing clients in January of 2021 to present day, they've seen about 10,000 clients, which resulted in about 28,000 requests for services.
I think if I had been dealing with somebody who wasn't a veteran, things would have been much different. It's kind of like a little standoffish. I had met some people from a different organization, and they had the desire to help, but they just don't understand the same, you know, as a battle buddy, who's somebody who's been through it, you know.
This idea of battle buddy, you know, it's actually a military thing where you're teamed up with somebody, and, you know, we think about just one other person. So just knowing that there's somebody with you at all times that always has your back. You know, that's the general idea behind a battle buddy. We know accessing the VA, there are a lot of great resources there, but it's hard to access those resources. And a lot of people give up. But when you have a battle buddy that has your back, who's actually been through that fight before, we're able to go through and for lack of better terms, hold their hand, you know, kind of guide them through that process. We're there with them every step of the way.
My biggest piece of advice that I've ever learned was find your reason. Find your reason to keep going and to make it to that path. That's what saved me. I found my reason. My reason happened to be Jessica, taking her to her doctors. That led me to a veteran center, that led me to VPAN, that led me to the people that were willing to help. But then when they are willing to help, it's a two-way street. They'll do everything they can to help you, but you gotta help yourself.
An exhibit by the Los Angeles Poverty Department explored the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic when people experiencing homelessness were housed in hotels. Join us as we take a look back at those unsettling times.
So we're standing today at the LA Poverty Department, and they've done this incredible job of bringing to life the experience that we had collectively during COVID, providing services for people experiencing homelessness in LA County. And one of the key things that we were working on during the pandemic was creating safe spaces for people to be while they were recovering from COVID, and we called those isolation and quarantine sites.
The staff came up with, they started calling them the COVID hotels, and that's the name of our exhibition. Well, Housing for Health ran the quarantine medical sites, and so the people who worked there at the quarantine medical sites had come up with ways of providing medical treatment and getting people housed that were improvements on business as usual. Yeah, the items we'll see in the exhibit were either ones that were provided by the medical staff or things that were told about that we then acquired or created. And this is actually a book that was published by the county about the how, a very specific how to make an isolation site for the next pandemic.
We actually stood up and operated 13 different isolation and quarantine sites. And so at sort of peak of operation, we had about 860 staff working across like 8 COVID hotels. And we provided isolation and quarantine services that included really wraparound care.
And honestly, I can't imagine what would have happened to our population if we hadn't been there, because that's the only place they really had to quarantine a lot of them. During the pandemic, I was in charge of all the nurses at the isolation and quarantine sites. Actually, this is something I'm really proud of, because I did things in this program that I never thought I could do, that I never thought I would do, and I was someone I never thought I'd be, and I stepped up and I did it. This place means a lot to me. It's kind of cool that somebody's recognizing it and showing other people, like this is what it was really like, because there's so many people out there, still people that are like, I don't believe it.
Patients at Rancho Los Amigos National Rehabilitation Center in Downey take part in animal therapy as they progress on their rehabilitation journey.
All right, welcome to our animal-assisted therapy. Here at Rancho Los Amigos, we have an animal-assisted therapy program where we have 2 therapy dogs who are owned by the facility. Can you turn a circle? Nice long circle. Okay.
The animals are like the therapists. Sometimes it's really hard for us as therapists to motivate the patients, whether they're in pain, whether they are just feeling down or they're depressed. But when we say that the animals are going to be involved in the sessions, they bright up, they get up right away, and it's really a motivator, something that we as therapists can't do, but the animals can definitely do to motivate, and it benefits the patients.
Speak. Good boy.
We use facility dogs. And facility dogs are dogs that have graduated from Canine Companions for Independence in Oceanside, California. They know over 40 different commands.
One of our dogs is here Tuesdays and Thursdays. The other dog is here pretty much every day. So it's great because in case we get new patients come in, people will have like, hey, I saw the dog down the hall, I really want to work with him. It's just a great way that we can kind of order through the doctor and say, hey, so-and-so needs an order so they can work with the dog.
We have 3 animals here in the program. 2 are Labradors and mixed with Golden Retrievers, and we have an umbrella cockatoo that is 19 years old.
I think a lot of times being in the hospital, it gets harder to just be away from if they have animals at home, or people just love animals, and sometimes that helps with the healing process. So just being able to put our hands onto the dogs, pet them, do some grooming, kind of helps them remind them of times when they're at home, helps them get prepared to go home in case they need to work with their animals.
So we have two types of sessions. One is a group session where we'll have about, 3 to 5 patients in the group session. There we focus on socialization. Any impairment that the patient has, the therapist will let the handler know. For instance, if the patient needs to work on ambulation or gait training, then we'll walk with the patient with the dog. If they need to work on range of motion, Zoe, our umbrella cockatoo, will be on the patient's arm, and they can do range of motions with their arm.
The program of having animal-assisted therapy is just a great opportunity. I wish that most other hospitals can have it. We have a big booming thing where a lot of service animals are coming in. We actually do have true facility dogs. It's a great opportunity for them to work with someone who maybe is a little bit more, does a little bit better listening and everything like that, and it's just a great opportunity. And even for some of the people who are considering getting a service dog because they want a little extra help or a little extra emotional support, we have just a great program here that can kind of just showcase the best things about it.
Meet Jessica, a former foster youth who is pursuing her dreams thanks to a guaranteed income program helping youth like her get their financial footing.
So I entered the system when I was 16. I was with another sibling. We moved a lot of times. Sometimes it was because the state was like, okay, we have to remove you, right? I aged out of the system when I was 18, and I was moved into transitional housing, which helps former foster youth become independent. I had a rough time with a lot of schools, and I have learned and adjust in different ways of learning, which has helped me now that I'm currently at the University of Cal State Long Beach. I am majoring in criminal justice.
A lot of these former foster youth don't have the, I guess you could say, the basic needs met. If it's housing, if it's food, if it's education, even just the simple thing of opening a bank account. So giving and supplying the $1,000 a month, it really supports them with their endeavors in which they want to follow through with.
It has helped me with some bills, groceries, phone bills, Scantrons, notebooks, or even some pens.
A lot of these participants are like, hey, I'm gonna go get my master's because of this. Or you know what, I always wanted to be a chef. That was unattainable before. You know what I mean? It's not a handout, it's a hand up. She's not a one-trick pony. She likes to do everything and have her hand on every cookie jar, you know what I mean? And do abundance of things. But I would really like her to focus in on one thing so she can follow through with her plan of creating that nonprofit that she speaks about quite often.
Yes, my nonprofit organization is mostly for former foster youth because in reality, we don't have that many resources from the state. For example, there's only 3% of former foster youth who continue their education, whether it's bachelor's, master's, PhD.
The idea that they are able to attain these things because of the Breathe money, that they have support. This is not just, oh, we supply the money and we say good riddance to you when this is over. We supply, hopefully, a lot of things that they need in their lives.
Building that trust with our coaches and connecting with others, I think that's what makes it very beautiful.
Très bien! Art students on both sides of the Atlantic designed Olympic posters as part of a cultural collaboration by the LA County Department of Arts and Culture, the City of Los Angeles, and the City of Lights. Take a look.
We're here today to celebrate the incredible student artists of LA-based art schools that participated in a unique, one-of-a-kind 2024 Cultural Olympiad poster competition. This was a competition that we did with our partners in the city of Paris and other partners to bring together art students in both Paris and LA. They were invited to create original poster designs as well as GIF animations that celebrate the 2024 Olympic and Paralympic Games, but also the connection between Paris and the soon-to-be handover to us in Los Angeles for the 2028 Games. So we're so excited.
This is my poster here. It represents the connection between Paris and LA, the hosting cities of the Olympics, and it's meant to be a visual representation of the celebration of these cultures and the connection between them. So my poster shows both of the cities in their distinct areas and all of their distinct culture, and then the athlete is what is kind of bringing them together. I'm really excited because, when you think about it, the cultures are not as different as you might imagine. And when we were making these posters, we were thinking of all the ways that, Paris and LA are kind of the same. They're celebratory of food and people and music and art. So it's very interesting to see those connections from such distinct cities. And I'm really excited for the LA Olympics because I wasn't here for the one in the 80s. So I'm excited to experience it firsthand and get to be kind of a little part of it.
It's just really amazing, we're in this room today celebrating this whole thing. I'm not used to this, you know what I mean? So it's a really fantastic opportunity. I'm really enjoying it. I was really inspired originally by I was trying to figure out what is a commonality between both cities, right? Because it's kind of hard. They're both very different, right? Paris is this very old city. Like it has this really fantastic architecture, and LA is just more modern, and it's I would say it's a lot more showy Hollywood, right? So what's the commonality between these two cities? I thought a lot about tourism in that. That was the main inspiration between that concept of tourism, and that was the main inspiration that went into these posters. That and the colors, and obviously the torch that brings them together.
It's huge. I mean, so many people don't realize that arts and culture was actually part of the original ethos of the Olympic Games. And so we're excited to make sure that it is visible, it is supported, and also I really believe it's a powerful way to unite folks. It's a way to engage community and celebrate our diversity, our cultural heritage, all the things that make us uniquely Paris, or in our case, uniquely Los Angeles.
I am thrilled to see that this is a partnership between Paris and Los Angeles. I think that it is emblematic of the possibility of the Olympics when it comes into a community, how it can bring people together, and that it goes beyond the games or even specific dates. It is true coming together of community in a way that enriches each culture. And I am so thrilled to be recognizing all of you for the role that you have played to bring that to life. It's not just something that we're talking about or, sort of saying words about, but we actually have the evidence of your hard work and investment and tapping into what it means to be part of both of these communities as we celebrate the Olympics in Paris. We are excited about welcoming the Olympics to Los Angeles and the Paralympics, of course, and making sure that that everybody gets to see themselves reflected in these celebrations. And that's really the role of arts and culture as well, that we give voice to everyone in the community so everyone feels a part of this celebration.
For me, it really strengthened my connection with LA because during the project I had to define what LA meant, and I found that LA doesn't mean any specific culture or people. It's a fusion of so many things, and as an Asian American I could testify. So it's really cool being able to represent that diversity.
It's very important. We have to invest in our arts organizations, but we also have to invest in the future artists. And so LA's art schools, but also our community colleges, art programs for youth, which we also have. And I'm so excited that this summer we're doing a whole series of themed programs for youth in county parks and detention centers that are all about the Olympics, Olympic values, and these same key themes to engage them. So investing in the future creative careers, all of that is hugely important to us, and this was just a really, really fun way to do it.
It's exciting to know that LA County is wanting to support artists and celebrate them on such a large scale, so I'm grateful that they're taking the time to do so today.
There are really a lot of connections, and in Paris they did art and sport as the theme. of their cultural Olympiad. So we're thinking a lot about the intersection of arts, culture, athletes, fashion, you name it. So we'll see what that foretells in the future as we work with LA 28, City of LA, and of course us at LA County and all of the partners that will make 2028 come to be.
A 101-year-old corporal was honored by the Department of Military and Veterans Affairs for his inspiring life of service and duty to country.
We're in Bob Hope Patriotic Hall right now to honor Corporal Harry Corey, World War II veteran and survivor of the Bataan Death March, as well as twice a POW.
Can't think of the one worse than that Bataan Death March and Corregidor. I don't know how you did it, but you've done it, and you've got us home.
The one thing that I did learn in the prison camp is how much the human body could take, and it's probably why I'm 101 at this point.
Not only did Mr. Corey serve bravely in World War II to defend our country and our way of life, but also through giving back afterwards, and you are a legend amongst this community.
I had made a promise to myself when I was in the death march that if I ever escaped, that I would do all that I could for the government in the VA hospital, taking care of veterans as a patient advocate. For that, I stayed until I was 98 years old before I retired.
So on behalf of LA County and the Department of Military Veteran Affairs, thank you, Mr. Harry Corey, for everything that you've done for our country and did after you served in a war zone. We appreciate you.
I want to thank all of you for the honor that you bestowed upon me. And I thank all of you for being here. And I can't say any more except thanks.
We wish you the joy of the season. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on LA County Close Up.